Johann Sebastian Bach was born on March 31st, 1685 in Germany and died in Leipzig, Germany on July 28, 1750. Bach came from a very music family and was surrounded by music from a very young age. When Bach was growing up, he was known as a great performer for both the violin and as an organist. It was Bach's great technical ability that landed him his first big position as the organist at the new church in Arnstadt, where he'd provide music for religious services and special events. Along with composing music for these religious services, Bach progressed on to working on music for royalty, which many composers tried to achieve during this time, as composing for wealthier patrons and even for royalty during this time led to more frequent commissions and a more steady income for a composer during this era. It also raised the status of a composer composing for royalty and helped attract a lot of attention. After his time in Arnstadt, Bach moved to Weimar, where he became the organist for the Duke of Weimar. While here in Weimar, Bach started to be influenced by other famous Baroque composers like Vivaldi. Bach also began to teach, and he began to take on organ pupils from far and wide. He also composed one of his most popular and famous organ pieces, the Toccata and Fugue in D minor. Coming to the end of Bach's time at Weimar, he was actually jailed by the man he worked for, the Duke of Weimar, as Bach had been offered a better position elsewhere and wanted to leave the Duke. The Duke was unhappy about this and decided to jail Bach for 4 weeks. Even though Bach was jailed, this did not hold him back and he continued to compose. He actually composed enough organ preludes to be performed as a year-long cycle while imprisoned. After Weimar, Bach moved to Leipzig. Here in Leipzig, he began to work for Prince Leopold, and he served as his director of music, or also known as the Kapellmeister, which was his official title. Prince Leopold himself was a musician and appreciated Bach's performance and compositional skills, which allowed Bach to have a considerable amount of freedom when composing new works. Here in Leipzig, Bach composed works for religious services just like he did in Arnstadt, including one of his most famous works, his St. Matthew's Passion, which he composed for Good Friday. Bach himself considered this work one of his greatest masterpieces. While in Leipzig, Bach stayed heavily involved in education. Bach was big into education for most of the time throughout his life. He would always have at least one full-time apprentice studying with him, including private students that would come to learn at his house. Bach stands as one of the most important and evolutionary figures in all of music history. He pushed forward the use of harmony and counterpoint and overall music as a profession and as an art form. During Bach's life, he composed over 1,000 pieces of music. Some of Bach's most notable works are the Brandenburg Concertos, the Well-Tempered Clavier, and the Mass in B minor. All of these works had different contributions and influences on music to come because of how popular they were, the musicality within each work, and the complexity Bach showed with his compositional skills. The Well-Tempered Clavier is the most likely best example of Bach's contrapuntal writing, and it consists of 48 preludes and fugues, one for each pair in the major and minor key. Overall, Bach has played a huge role in the progress of music since his era and has influenced so many great composers after him and will always be seen as one of the most inspiring composers in music history. Hey guys, so the video you just watched there is a new series I'm hoping to start on this channel called Composer Spotlight, where I'm just gonna make basically a short video, hopefully nothing ever really over 5 to 6 minutes long, looking at certain composers that have either influenced me or I found out about them when I was studying music in university, or does a composer has some sort of impact on musical history or me as a composer. And a few people I've seen have done these type of videos or have talked about them in threads, but a lot of the time they only really look at video game composers or music composers, to where I want to actually start nearly chronologically and look at classical composers leading up to now modern film and video game composers. So like in this video was Bach from the Baroque era. I could look at another Baroque composer like Vivaldi, or move on to classical like Mozart, and so on into early romantic, late romantic, contemporary, jazz composers, all the way leading up. So if you have any composers that you'd like me to maybe research that I might not know, or maybe you might decide to see one of your favourite composers here in one of these videos, leave them in the comments below and I'll hopefully get around to them after I do some of the composers that I have on my own list, and hopefully they can be informed of. Of course, there's plenty more information out there that I have nowhere near covered in any of these videos that are going to be upcoming, but you can do some of that research yourself. I'm just going to try to focus on some of the main impacts and facts about these composers, and maybe one or two little interesting facts that you might not know along the way throughout these. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below on what composer you might want to see next.